Hello and welcome to MudbrainsTv Do It Yourself. Today is a very exciting episode, at least for me, for I stumbled upon a technique that allows me, or you, after you learn it, to go from this, any kind of PVC mask, to this. Just look, an exact copy. And the best thing is that the only materials that you have to use are wood glue and some packing paper. I hope you enjoy. I will try to walk you through the time lapse that I recorded earlier. Maybe a commented time lapse is the right way to go here. These are all the tools that I use in this build. And yeah, I think it's a really like low-tech thing that is going on here. For the only material that is used for the mask, or for the duplication of the mask, is the glue, the wood glue, and the packing paper. So for building this duplication of the mask, or this copy of the mask, I wanted to use the inside of the mask, so this had to be very clean. The cleaner the mask, the less the glue with the packing paper can stick to it, and the easier it is to get the mask out after you are finished. For this project, I actually built two masks, or I had built two masks, and the first one was not very optimized in the way that I built it. And so I will talk you to the making of the second mask. For in the first one, I tried to use one sheet of paper for each half of the inside of the mask. And it was just very tedious and very difficult to get the paper to stick to the inside of the mask, and I had to work very slow, and it was ripping all the time, and I thought I spare you that. In comparison to my first attempt to build the mask, now in the second one I'm using stripes to cover the inside, and because the stripes are not as wide as just using two pieces of paper, there's way less stretching going on in each stripe. The main idea behind the whole thing is that I water down the wood glue with about 1/3 of water per 2/3 of wood glue, to a degree where it easily soaks into the packing paper. And the packing paper is ideal for this, for it's a non-coated surface, and it like really waits to soak up anything that has water inside of it. And with the glue really soaking into the paper becomes a little bit stretchable, and you can really push it into the crevices of the mask. When I start with laying down the stripes of paper, I just cover the lower third, or the starting third of the stripe with glue, and then I like fold it around the edge of the mask and start from there. And then I'm working my way up centimeter by centimeter. Something like when you would apply a screen protector. Then you're just starting on one side, and then you work your way forward. The main difficulty here is really to stay patient, for the soaked paper just wants to rip all the time. Once the whole stripe is laid down, I start to search for any area that might not have perfect contact with the inside of the mask. So you see me using the backside of a paintbrush, and I'm not like sliding it over the surface, but I'm rolling it over the surface. And this rolling motion really helps to get into the tighter spots. Paper towels are also really good, for you. You have a very distributed pressure point, and you're not stressing one part more than the other. I found it to be really helpful to paint some glue over the leading edge of the last stripe that I applied before I start with the next one. For this way I ensure that there's enough glue on the inside of the mask, even where the two stripes gap. For like in between here, then there will be some glue if I applied enough before starting the next stripe. Whenever I completed a stripe, I try to look back at all the stripes that I've done before, if anything became loose. And I try to press down everything once again, just regularly for, yeah, I want to prevent the paper from just like popping from the inside PVC layer of the mask. And you don't really have to be very fast with it, for the glue can just evaporate, or the water in the glue can just evaporate to one side, for the inside of the mask keeps it from doing that. So there's no need to really hurry with it. Just do it regularly, and then the glue will be dry enough that there's no chance for it to pop up again. That's basically it, or not basically it, but it's all same. The only exception is the nose. There's some extreme curvature going on, or compared to the rest of the mask. So I used smaller pieces of paper. Just take your time with the nose and don't like ruin the whole thing. For the first mask that I built, I just had 2 pieces of paper with which I wanted to do the whole thing. I had some really nasty wrinkling on the top of the nose. You can see that later in the video. Having just one layer of paper with glue in there is just not enough to have stability for the mask. So I added a second layer, which is just like more of the same. The only difference is that the glue will dry a bit faster, but on the other hand, it's much easier to apply it now, for it's not sliding around the surface. So it's just more of the same. Basically, the whole build is just to have the paper soaked and have it like soaked enough. Have it completely soaked with glue, and patience. It's just take your time, one step at a time, 1 millimeter at a time, 1 centimeter at a time, or how the Americans say, 1 fractional inch at a time. Maybe you say that. Before I tried to separate the mask from the mask, I let it dry for 24 hours. I made sure that there was no connection, or that the nostrils, the eye holes, and the opening for the mouth, that they were no longer sticking to the mask. I first started at the cheeks, and then I worked my way around, and the last thing was the nose, and then I just applied force to get it out there. This was the second time that I did it, and I was quite comfortable to use this amount of force, for I knew that it would be stable enough and that it would not rip apart. I filmed this video across a couple of days, and now I will switch you back to myself from like 2 days ago, and you might notice that I'm still suffering there on the tail end of a nasty cold that I had, and I sound very tired, and concentration is not really there. Okay. I must say that the second try produced a much better result than the first one. The great thing with this mask is that, okay, well, let me show you. Plastic, 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 solid. Plastic, solid. Plastic, solid. It's great. It's great. It's a great technique. I'm still flabbergasted. It's amazing to see what is possible with this low tool, low tech, low whatever kind of approach. Yeah, it's great. I love it. I will come back to you. I'm mind blown. Can you understand my excitement now? Why I think this is just incredible? I love it. I think the secret sauce in doing this is wood glue. And I don't think that it's really just this make here. For wood glue needs to stay a bit flexible. For wood is always working, getting a bit smaller, a bit bigger. And if the connection would be too rigid, then it would just fail. It would just crack. And I think this flexibility is what we can use here to actually create this mask. Name, maker, and ingredients of the glue will be posted down in the description of the video. This way you can compare it to whatever kind of wood glue you are able to buy. Right now the second mask that I built is in painting. So I just laid down the first layer of white paint, and I will finish the paint job in the next 2 days, and then I will upload the video. Thanks for watching. I hope you will click in again, and yeah, try it. This is amazing. It is amazing, and you don't have to use the Guy Fawkes mask. Just try it with anything. It was a very, very fulfilling experience. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye.